Hey everyone, ready to dive deep into a topic that might just revolutionize your dabbing game?
I'm all for it. What are we exploring today?
Water levels in dab rigs.
Yeah.
I know it sounds simple, maybe even a little boring.
Boring. No way. Water levels are like the secret sauce of a perfect dab.
Exactly, and we're going deep, all thanks to this awesome guide we found that's dedicated to, well, the art of water levels. I'm already geeking out just thinking about all the little tweaks we can make to get those smoother, tastier hits.
You're telling me I used to think water was just there to, fill the rig.
Right, just kind of there.
But it's so much more than that. It's like the unsung hero of the whole setup. Filters out the impurities, cools down that hot vapor before it hits your throat. It's basically a dabbing bartender.
Love that analogy. So let's say I'm a newbie to the dabbing scene, just got my first rig, feeling all excited.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen if I just eyeball the water level? Will my rig, explode?
Okay, first of all, no explosions. Your rig is safe. But you might end up with a dab that's, well, let's just say less than ideal. Too much water, and it's like trying to sip a milkshake through one of those tiny coffee stirrers.
Oof, yeah, I can see that being a struggle. And if I go too low on the water, like barely any in there.
That's when things can get a little rough.
Uh,
You lose all the benefits of the water, the filtration, the cooling, gone. You're basically left with a harsh, hot vapor that might not taste so great.
okay, yeah, that's definitely not the vibe we're going for. So finding that Goldilocks zone, that sweet spot, that's the key, right?
Exactly. And just like Goldilocks, the best way to find your perfect water level is through some good old-fashioned trial and error.
Trial and error it is. But where do we even begin? This guide we're using, does it give us like a starting point?
It does, actually. It all starts with a little something called the percolator. You know that piece in your rig that looks all fancy and does the bubbling thing?
Oh yeah, the percolator.
Yeah.
Mine kind of looks like a tiny tree. Is that a thing?
It is. That's a tree percolator, one of the most common types. But before we get lost in the forest of percolators, let's focus on step one. Start with just enough water to cover the top of your percolator.
Okay, got it. Tiny pool party for the percolator. What's next? Just fire up the torch and go for it.
Hold on there, eager beaver. The next step is crucial. Take a test dab, but pay attention. Like, really pay attention.
Ooh, mindful dabbing. I like it.
Engage all your senses. How does the vapor feel? Smooth or harsh? What about the taste? Clean and tasty, or is there something off?
This is way more interesting than I thought. So based on that first mindful dab, what then?
Then you adjust. If it's harsh, add a tiny bit more water. If it feels like you're sucking on a straw stuffed with cotton candy, back off a bit on the water.
So it's like a game of hot and cold, but with water level.
Exactly. You keep tweaking and tasting until you hit that sweet spot, that perfect balance where the vapor is cool, smooth, and packed with flavor.
This is blowing my mind. I used to think water levels were just a set it and forget it kind of thing. So to recap, we start by covering the percolator, take a mindful dab, and then adjust based on how it feels and tastes.
You got it. Rinse and repeat until you hit that perfect balance. And the cool thing is that perfect level is uniquely yours. It's like a fingerprint for your dabbing style and your rig.
This is so cool. I'm starting to see why water levels are such a game changer.
They really are. They can make or break your dabbing experience. But we've only just scratched the surface.
There's more. I'm all ears.
Oh, yeah. We haven't even talked about how different types of rigs and percolators can affect your ideal water level.
Wait, what? Different rigs, different levels? This is getting deep.
It's about to get even deeper.
Okay, I'm ready. Hit me with the knowledge.
Let's start with percolators. There are three main types that you'll come across: honeycomb, tree, and inline. Each one affects the water level game in a different way. It's like choosing the right filter for your coffee. You wouldn't use a coarse filter for espresso, right?
Right, makes sense. So my little tree percolator, is that going to need more water than, say, a honeycomb one?
You're already thinking like a pro. Yes, tree percolators, with all their chambers and branches, usually need a bit more water to really get that bubbling action going.
So it's like giving the tree a good drink of water.
Exactly. Now, honeycomb percolators, they're like the workhorses. Tons of tiny bubbles, super efficient filtration. You might actually find yourself using less water with those.
Less water for more efficiency. Interesting. Okay, what about the inline percolators? What are those like?
Inline percolators are like the balanced middle ground, a good mix of filtration and cooling without being too extreme.
So the Goldilocks of percolators.
You got it. And with those, a moderate water level usually does the trick.
This is fascinating. So it's not just about the amount of water, but also where that water sits in relation to the percolator.
Exactly. It's all about finding that perfect harmony between water, vapor, and percolator. And the best way to learn the dance is to, you guessed it, practice.
All right, I'm ready to practice my dabbing dance moves. But before we get too carried away, I have a confession. Sometimes I feel like I'm barely getting any vapor, like I'm just inhaling air.
Ah, the elusive clouds.
Could my water level be the culprit?
It's definitely possible. Water levels can play a huge role in vapor production.
No way. So I could be missing out on epic dab experiences just because my water level is off.
It happens more often than you think. By fine-tuning your water level, you can unlock those massive milky clouds you never knew your rig was capable of.
Okay, sign me up for Cloud City. How do I optimize for maximum cloudage?
Think of your water level like a sculptor's chisel. By making small adjustments, you can shape and mold the vapor density to your liking. Start with your baseline water level and experiment with adding or removing water in small increments. Each tweak will change the thickness and volume of the vapor.
So it's back to the mindful dabbing, paying attention to those subtle changes.
You got it. And here's a pro tip. If your hits feel restricted or you're struggling to pull any vapor at all, your water level is probably too high. On the flip side, if the vapor is thin and wispy, you might need to add a touch more water to create that dense, satisfying cloud.
This is amazing. I'm starting to feel like a dabbing wizard, manipulating the elements to create the perfect hit.
Mm-hmm.
But hold on, before we get too lost in the clouds, I think it's time we address the, shall we say, less glamorous side of dabbing. Cleaning. I know, not the most exciting topic.
But a clean rig is a happy rig, and a happy rig means happy dabs.
Okay, you've convinced me. I'm ready to embrace the art of rig hygiene. Where do we start?
Our trusty guide has a super simple cleaning ritual that'll keep your rig sparkling. First things first, empty out any leftover concentrate. Think of it like clearing the table before you wash the dishes.
Makes sense. Out with the old, in with the clean.
Now it's time for a spa day for your rig. Gather all the detachable parts down stem, bowl, percolators, and give them a luxurious soak in high-proof isopropyl alcohol. It's like a magic potion that breaks down all that sticky residue.
Isopropyl alcohol, got it. Anything else I can add to this rig spa treatment?
If you've got some stubborn bits that are really clinging on, add a secret weapon. Coarse salt. It acts like a tiny cleaning crew, gently scrubbing away the gunk.
So it's a DIY cleaning solution that's both effective and satisfying. I'm sold. What's next?
After a good soak and scrub, give everything a thorough rinse with warm water. This is super important to get rid of any lingering alcohol or salt. You don't want those ending up in your next dab.
Clean rig, clean dab, clean conscience.
Yeah.
What's the final step in our rig revitalization process?
Let your rig air dry completely. Or, if you're impatient like me, grab a clean cloth and dry it thoroughly. It's like giving your rig a final polish before it's ready to shine again.
This all sounds very doable, but how often do we need to go through this whole cleaning ritual every single time I dab?
You don't need to become a cleaning fanatic. A quick rinse after each use is a good habit to get into. Think of it like a quick tidy up after a party. Then, once a week, treat your rig to that luxurious alcohol and salt spa treatment we talked about. And once a month, give your rig a thorough inspection for any cracks or damage.
Got it. Quick rinse after every session, a deep clean weekly, and a monthly checkup. Easy peasy. This whole cleaning process seems way less intimidating now.
It really is. A little bit of regular maintenance goes a long way in ensuring a smooth, flavorful, and most importantly, clean dabbing experience.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive. We've explored why water levels matter, learned the art of finding that sweet spot, and even demystified the cleaning process.
And we've only just begun. There's a whole universe of dabbing techniques, accessories, and customizations out there waiting to be explored.
Ooh, I'm already excited for part 2. It sounds like things are about to get even more interesting.
Oh, they definitely are. We're going to dive deeper into temperature control, explore different nail materials, and unlock the secrets of carb caps. Get ready to level up your dab game.
I can't wait.
Welcome back, everyone. Ready to take your dabbing skills to the next level?
Oh, I'm so ready. Level up time. Last time we talked all about water levels, but now I'm curious about temperature.
Temperature. Oh, that's a whole other world of dabbing mastery. It's like the difference between burning your dinner and cooking it to perfection.
Yeah. Sometimes my dabs taste a little, well, burnt. I've always just kind of eyeballed it with a torch, but I'm sensing there's a better way.
You're absolutely right. Eyeballing it can be tricky. This source we're looking at really emphasizes the importance of temperature control.
Okay, so how do we achieve this temperature nirvana.
Well, it all starts with the nail. That's the surface you heat up to vaporize your concentrate, right?
Right? The nail makes sense.
Now, if the nail is too cold, you end up with a puddle of unvaporized concentrate, which is just sad.
Yeah, that's a waste of good concentrate.
But if the nail is too hot, you risk burning those precious terpenes, which are responsible for all the delicious flavors and aromas.
Ooh, the terpenes. I'm all about those tasty terpenes.
Yeah.
So it's a balancing act, finding that sweet spot where the terpenes are happy and the concentrate vaporizes properly.
Exactly. It's like finding the perfect temperature for a hot bath. Not too cold, not too hot, just right.
Okay, I can get behind that analogy. But how do we actually find that perfect temperature? I mean, I'm not exactly a scientist with a thermometer for my dab rig.
You don't need to be a scientist. There are a few simple techniques you can use. Like you can try using a timer to heat your nail for a consistent amount of time.
A timer. Okay, that's a good starting point. But this guide also mentioned something called e-nails. Are those like next level temperature control?
E-nails are definitely next level. They're basically electric heating elements that attach to your nail and let you set a specific temperature. And the best part is they maintain that temperature with crazy accuracy.
Wow, so no more guessing games or burnt dabs. Are there certain temperature ranges I should be aiming for?
It depends on the type of concentrate you're using and the experience you're after, but a good general rule of thumb is somewhere between 500 and 700 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, 500 to 700, got it.
Hmm.
Now I'm feeling empowered to finally take control of my dabbing temperature. But there's one thing I'm still a little confused about.
What's that?
Nail material. I've seen nails made of all sorts of stuff, titanium, quartz, even ceramic. Does it really matter which one I use?
It absolutely matters. Different materials heat up and retain heat differently, which can affect your dab in a big way. It's like choosing the right pan for cooking.
Okay, I'm liking this cooking analogy.
Yeah.
So what are the pros and cons of each material? Like, what's titanium good for?
Titanium is like the workhorse of nail materials.
Right.
Durable, heats up fast, retains heat well, but it can sometimes impart a slightly metallic taste to your dabs if you don't season it properly.
Season it, like a cast iron skillet.
Exactly. Now, quartz is a popular choice because it heats up and cools down quickly, and it delivers a really pure, clean flavor. But it's a bit more delicate than titanium, and it can crack if you're not careful.
So quartz is like the delicate flower of the nail world.
Pretty much. And then there's ceramic, which is the slow and steady option. Takes a while to heat up, but retains heat really well and distributes it evenly.
Okay, so titanium for durability, quartz for flavor, and ceramic for those long, slow sessions.
Got it. But hold on a second. I'm starting to see a connection here between all these elements. The water level, the temperature, the nail material, it's all intertwined, isn't it?
You're catching on quickly. They all work together to create the perfect dabbing experience. For example, a lower temperature on a quartz nail might give you thinner vapor, but it'll preserve those delicate terpenes for maximum flavor.
Mind blown. So it's all about finding the right combination of variables to create the dab that's perfect for you.
Exactly. And the beauty of it is that there's no one right answer. It's all about experimentation and finding what you enjoy the most. I'm feeling so inspired right now. Like I need to go home and experiment with everything we've talked about.
That's the spirit. But before you go, there's one more piece of the puzzle we need to talk about.
Ooh, what is it?
Airflow. Specifically, something called carb caps. Have you ever used one of those?
Carb caps. I've heard the name, but I'm not exactly sure what they do.
Well, get ready to have your mind blown again. Carb caps are these little magical devices that can take your dabbing to a whole new level. They help regulate airflow and create a more controlled vaporization experience.
Controlled vaporization. That sounds intriguing. Tell me more.
Basically, carb caps act like tiny chimneys for your nail, helping to trap heat and direct airflow. This allows you to vaporize your concentrate at a lower temperature while still getting those big, flavorful clouds.
So it's like they're supercharging the dabbing process. I'm definitely adding carb caps to my shopping list. But wait, are there different types of carb caps?
Oh yeah, there are tons of different types. Each one is designed to create a slightly different airflow pattern and vaporization experience. We've got directional carb caps, vortex carb caps, bubble caps, spinner caps. The variety is endless.
This is amazing. I'm starting to realize that the world of dabbing is way more complex than I ever imagined.
It's a journey of discovery, my friend, and the best part is there's always something new to learn and explore.
I'm feeling a sudden urge to join a dabbing club or something so I can geek out with other enthusiasts and share all this knowledge.
You should totally do it. There are tons of amazing dabbing communities out there, both online and in person.
Okay, I'm officially hooked. This deep dive has been a game changer.
And we're not done yet. There's still so much more to explore. But for now, I think it's time to wrap up this part of our journey.
All right, sounds good. But just a little preview of what's coming next.
In the final part of our deep dive, we're going to tackle some more advanced concepts like cold start dabs and low temp dabbing, and we'll answer all those burning questions you've been dying to ask.
Ooh, I can't wait. See you all back here soon for the grand finale. All right, dabbing enthusiasts, we're back. We've explored the depths of water levels, mastered the art of temperature control, and even ventured into the world of nail materials and carb caps. But hold on tight, because this is it, the grand finale of our deep dive.
And what a journey it's been. We've covered so much ground, but there's still a whole universe of dabbing knowledge waiting to be explored.
I'm feeling like a dabbing Jedi Master in training. But I've got to ask, with all the high-tech dab rigs popping up these days, the ones with digital displays and enough buttons to launch a spaceship, do those same principles of water levels still apply?
That's a great question, and it highlights something really important. No matter how fancy your rig gets, those fundamental principles we've been talking about, they still hold true.
So even with all the bells and whistles, finding that sweet spot with the water level is still key.
Absolutely. Water filtration and cooling are essential, no matter how technologically advanced your setup might be. But there's a catch. Those high-tech rigs often have really unique designs, complex percolator systems, and advanced airflow mechanisms.
So it's like upgrading from a bicycle to a Formula One race car.
Yeah.
The basic principles of steering and braking still apply, but there's a whole new level of precision and control.
You nailed it. With those advanced rigs, you've got more variables to play with, more settings to fine-tune, and ultimately more potential to create a truly personalized and dialed-in dabbing experience.
It's like going from playing a simple tune on a keyboard to composing a full-blown symphony. Speaking of symphonies, remember those carb caps we talked about?
Ah, yes, the carb caps. They're like the conductors of your dabbing symphony, guiding the airflow, shaping the vapor, influencing the flavor, and they really shine when you pair them with a high-tech rig.
Okay, I'm sold.
Yeah.
Tell me more about these different types of carb caps. What are the most popular ones and what makes them unique?
Well, you've got directional carb caps, which let you direct the airflow to specific parts of the nail. It's like having a tiny fan that creates these swirling vortices of vapor.
Ooh, swirling vortices. Sounds intense. What about vortex carb caps? Are those similar?
Vortex carb caps take that swirling action to the next level. They've got these intricate designs and channels that create a spinning vortex within the nail itself. It's like a mini tornado, maximizing your vapor production and flavor.
Wow. Are there any other carb cap styles I should know about?
Oh yeah, there are bubble caps, which create a bubbling effect for even more vapor, and spinner caps, which spin around on the nail, distributing heat and airflow. It's amazing how much thought goes into these little accessories.
It's mind-blowing. I'm realizing that the world of dabbing is like this endless rabbit hole of possibilities.
And that's the beauty of it. There's always something new to discover, a new technique to master, a new flavor profile to unlock.
This deep dive has been an absolute game changer. I feel like I've gone from dabbing novice to, well, maybe not quite a Jedi Master yet, but definitely on the path.
And remember, the most important ingredient in all of this is you. Your curiosity, your willingness to experiment, your passion for exploring this amazing world, that's what will truly elevate your dabbing journey.
Well said. I'm feeling inspired to keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep pushing the boundaries of my dabbing experience.
That's what it's all about.
This has been an incredible journey, and I want to thank you for being such an awesome guide.
The pleasure was all mine. Keep dabbing on, my friend.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of dab rigs and water levels. We hope you've learned a ton and feel empowered to take your dabbing to the next level. Remember, the perfect dab is out there waiting to be discovered. Happy dabbing, everyone.